Hi everyone, I am going to cover some epic swatching today. Mostly customers have asked me to swatch the new Uniball Signo DX next to some other brands so that they can get an idea of the colors. I'm going to try to answer some of the frequently asked questions I normally get when I'm doing a video. So I'm using an Apica notebook. I think this is an old limited edition. It's probably not available anymore. But if you like the paper, it is Apica paper. Very nice, smooth paper. We almost always sell some Apica notebooks on our site. Let's see what else. This is the pen case I'm using. It's this sparkly little Twin Stars pen case. And actually it's super cute and it reminds me of my childhood, which is why I'm using it. I will post a link to it. I think we have a few left on the site, and I've got it loaded up with a bunch of brown pens right now, but you can see how much room it has in there, which is pretty cool. Other frequently asked questions, believe it or not, this ring here is from, well, it's a kind of like a one of a kind. I'll post the name of the designer below. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on it, but I get asked this all the time, and I get it off the website Love Audrey Rose, I believe it's called. I will post links below. This one is from Etsy. This one I designed. These I designed. Thanks for asking about my jewelry. That's nice of you. No nail polish to talk about today. Sorry. Let's see what else. As I use the pens, I'll, be putting those links below, so all those questions will be answered. Olive Midori, olive pen holder, yes, we have more of those. We got our final batch that we were owed recently, and so we still have plenty of those if you're still looking for them. Okay, I think that pretty much covers everything. I mostly decided to use this notebook for the swatching just because the paper is white. I generally prefer cream paper or like an off-white paper, so like I could do some swatching in the bullet journal just because a lot of people use those, but it is not a white paper, so I don't know if that I know that affects the swatching. I don't know how people feel about that. Oh, these, by the way, are current limited edition metallics. I am using a copper and a gold right now, and we do have those in stock as well. Okay, so why don't we start with the brown? Brown is my favorite ink color. I've pulled out a bunch of browns to swatch. And again, my main goal here is to get these new DX colors swatched next to some existing colors. So let me start with, this one is the Khaki. And I'll alternate between zooming and not zooming. So what I'll do is I'll get some swatched and then I'll zoom so everyone can see the color comparison once it's laid down. So don't worry, I'll get closer. So these two are new Uniball Signo DX colors. I'm gonna swatch them next to the existing brown black. And don't forget too, especially if you like to use gel pens for coloring, you will really like the beige. Isn't that what it's called? Yeah, the beige. And I didn't actually bring it with the browns just because I didn't really think it fit in with these swatching, but I was gonna swatch it next to the yellows. But just in case you're a coloring person, let me put it next to the Khaki right here. This color comes in really handy when you're coloring, and it's very unusual to find. So I just included it there. I'm already going off plan here. So here are the Uniball Signo DX browns swatched. And now let's start swatching some other browns so you get an idea. This one is the Sakura Ball Sign Knock in brown black 0.4. So these, I'm gonna say DX, okay? So this is the Sakura ball sign knock in brown black. So you're getting an idea on that. And you know, still very different from the DX brown black, isn't it? I think it's so interesting how you can get these colors. I can't write and talk at the same time. I think it's so interesting how you can get, you know, all these different shades of one color. It's really cool. This is the new vintage brown gray. So a lot of people wanted to see how the brown gray was laid down next to all these other browns too. I mean, I'd say we haven't repeated a color yet, which is really cool. Let's do the juice. Now, if you're a fan of the G2, I believe they call this brown juice in the G2 more like a caramel, but I don't think it's identical, but it's close. So that gives you kind of an idea. I'm really only swatching the pens that we sell. I'm not really focusing on American market pens just because that's not my thing. I'm sure there are plenty of people that do that. Coffee brown. Why don't we do the friction for those of you who love the convenience of erasable ink? This one is the brown in the Friction Ball Slim, one of my favorite all-time pens, especially for planning. Now, I don't recommend using these pens if you leave your writing in a hot car or just if it gets a really hot temperature, you can lose your ink. You can hope to get it back by putting it in the freezer for a while. That generally will work. This is, the Juice Up is one of my favorites. I love what they did with this. It really is quite different from the Juice. It's like two totally different pens. It's kind of weird that they, you know, kind of share a common name from Pilot. Oh, I should have told you this is the friction. You can kind of tell the erasable ink is definitely more faint, which really bothers some people, but if you accept the trade-off, it's pretty cool. These are Juice. Okay, Juice Up. And then we'll do the cult classic, the Hi-Tec C in brown. And generally, I am swatching 0.4s, 0.38s, 0.4s, and in cases like the vintage where they only make the 0.5, I'm swatching a 0.5, but that gives you an idea of my tip size. So here we have the browns. Now let me zoom in. I can't believe how long this video already is. There, okay? So can you decide which of these browns is your favorite? Let me know. I want to know. Which one would I pick? That would be really hard, honestly. I tend to like the darker browns and not so much the ones that have red in them. So, yeah. It would be really hard for me. This would maybe be my top of all these. Okay, well, if we do that forever, this will really take a million years. So why don't I go on to the grays? A lot of people are really excited about the new 2 shades of Uniball Signo DX grays. And gray is not that common of an ink color. I'm actually gonna move this up here. I'm gonna zoom back out. Okay. So why don't we start with those DX? So we have the gray. I think the new DX grays are both so gorgeous, personally. And this one is called Dark Gray. Okay, now what I'm gonna swatch next to these is a Uniball RE. Now I do a whole video about the Uniball RE, but because it's an erasable ink like the Friction, the black is called off black because it is light. I kind of just talked about that with the brown Friction up here. You're not gonna get that super saturated dark ink in an erasable Friction pen. That is just not going to happen. You have to accept the trade-off. So, and I know I talk about that a lot, but it's something I really want people to grasp, because people will complain and they'll say, oh, there's something wrong with my Friction. It's not, you know, a dark black. Well, no, it's not going to be. So the reason I'm gonna swatch this Uniball RE is because it really, to me, is similar to the dark gray, which I think is cool. So if you think of it more as a gray, maybe you would like it more. And they call this, again, off black, which I think was really smart of them. Now I'm going to swatch the Sarasu Clip in gray. And now the Juice in gray. I really wish someone would come out with a gray in a custom multi. The closest is, right now, the Sarasu pre-fill refills do come in a 0.5 silver in the shiny ink. That's relatively new. That's kind of the closest I feel like you can get to a gray in a custom multi. And then it doesn't totally belong, but because people have asked me, I'm going to swatch the new vintage blue gray next to these. And so you can, you know, it's gonna look more blue than it normally turns out next to all these grays, probably. But it gives you a good idea, and I'm gonna zoom in there so that you can pick which one you like the best. You can comment below, you can order it, and then we'll get the idea. We do have, for a long time it was hard to keep the vintage in stock because they were selling so quickly, and we finally got such a big batch that we're doing a good job keeping them in stock now. So if you're interested in those, the link's below. All right, so those are the grays. I'm actually going to add these to here just because I want at the end you to get an idea of just how many pins you can fit in that guy. All right, so we've got the browns and the grays. Now I'm going to move on to the purples, another really popular color. And we're going to start with the Uniball Signo DX purples. So 2 new purples, a lilac and a purple, and then of course your violet has been around. So let's do the lilac first. Feel free to fast forward to the color groupings that you're interested in, because this video, of course, is going to be quite long. Such a great job giving us 3 shades of purple from the DX. So let's swatch the Juice Grape and the Juice Violet next to these. This is getting me really excited about planning and journaling. I don't get as much time for that as you would think. We just had summer vacation here, and we don't really have childcare options in the summer. The grandmas help a little bit, but it becomes kind of a logistical problem. So this one is the Sarasu Purple. This might be called Violet on our site because Murasaki can really be translated in many different ways. So I can't remember if we call it, but there's only one Sarasu Purple color, and there it is. Let's do the Ball Sign Knock in Violet. The Ball Sign Knock does a great job at color, at rich color, I think. So if you haven't tried these yet, you really should, and they have a really unique shape. See that? It's quite cool. And then I will do the Juice Up in Violet. Gorgeous, one of my all-time favorites. And this pen just writes so nicely too, in my opinion. Everyone has their preferences, of course. So why don't we do the Friction next? We're gonna do purple and violet, so we'll do purple first. So again, the advantage to these is you're going to be able to disappear the ink with friction. Isn't the violet gorgeous? I use this all the time. I use it in conjunction, like I use it as a pair with the wine red, and a lot of times I mix in the brown, and my notebooks are always full of the Friction Ball Slim. Couple more here. We've got the purple in the Slicky. This is actually a discontinued color, but we still have plenty, so I decided to go ahead and swatch it for you. I hate it when the pen companies discontinue all the colors and then just continue making blue, black, red. It's like, why are you doing that? And red ink is so popular in Japan. Somebody, I think it was Tim Ferriss, was like, oh, I think you're not supposed to use red ink in Japan on one of his podcasts. Oh my God, you are so wrong, boo. Red ink is like one of the most popular ink colors in Japan. Tim Ferriss, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, just kidding. I'm not smack talking Tim Ferriss, but he acts like he knows everything about Japan, and it gets a little annoying. Did I just say that? Okay, sorry. All right, so let me zoom in. Okay, and I love the darker ones. Look at that Juice Up, and yeah, pretty good. All right, so a lot of beautiful purple variation there. There's a small amount here to compare with the blue-green. I'm surprised it's not a more popular color in the pens, but sorry, the sun is doing weird things behind me. Okay, so here's your DX in blue-green. And I'm gonna swatch next to that the Sarasu Clip in blue-green. Very similar. The DX blue-green looks a little bit more green, and the Sarasu Clip looks a little bit more blue. And then I'll swatch the turquoise Juice next to these. Turquoise is not an easy word to spell, is it? Okay. So you have actually 3 distinct colors here. Quite nice. The juice turquoise, you know, really comes out pretty dark next to the others, which is really cool to see. Okay, and I better hurry up because I'm running out of battery and it's been over 20 minutes. All right, so see, this is still like got tons of room, and that like is how many pins have fit in it. So I know, I think that case is adorable. All right, let's do some pinks. So we have, what I wanted to do was compare 4 of the baby pinks. And the reason I want to do this is the Hi-Tec C baby pink is very popular. So I feel like people would want to see how it looks next to the brand new DX baby pink. And then I pulled a couple other baby pinks to show you as well. If you want to see how the baby pink looks next to the other DX shades of pink, I did a whole video about that. I will link below the video I did to the, you know, the whole like new DX swatching. So here we go next to the Hi-Tec C Mica baby pink. This has a real cult following. So if you haven't tried this one, you might want to consider that. This ink, if you're studying and you don't want to use like red in the margins, this ink stands out really nicely and is a lot of fun. And here is the Juice baby pink, which I think the pen itself is really pretty. Very similar to the Mica, which is not a surprise. And then here we have the baby pink in the Friction, which is a true, very light baby pink. Maybe the only baby pink that really I would actually have named baby pink. It's because it comes out almost a pastel pink. And the Friction ink is good for that, since as we've discussed, it's always looks paler than the other inks. All right, so we have just one more colorway really to swatch, and those are the yellows. Actually, we'll swatch the yellows and the yellow greens, and it looks like I might have packed up something else a little helpful here. This is very random. Okay, so this is one of the new Uniball Signo DX 4 color barrels in yellow. Well, I have a, I must have packed it because I wanted, let's see what color this is. Sorry. Oh yeah, I have a golden yellow in there. So I must be planning on swatching that with the yellows. Okay. All right, so let's swatch the yellows. I'm gonna lay down the beige again first next to the yellows. You saw it next to the brown, which hopefully is helpful. Again, it's not the easiest to see when writing, but in coloring it is a must. It is almost impossible to find a beige or, you know, a shade like that in a gel pen. So let's do some yellows next to it. We're gonna do the Juice in yellow. Now this is the pineapple scented one. We do still sell these. I think they're even on sale. But it's the same exact color. You don't have to get the scented ink. But it really does smell like pineapple, which is pretty awesome. Okay, now let's do this is just straight up yellow. Yeah, this is yellow in the Sarasu. One of my favorite colors to write and draw with, because you think it's not gonna show up nicely, but it actually is a very nice color. This was in the limited edition Peiko-chan body. I think we might still have some of these, but again, it's the same color, and it is scented, so, okay. Let's see, let's do the yellow Hi-Tec C. I think I can get off on tangents because I always feel like I have so many like memories and stories with with the pens. That sounded silly, but I think you guys know what I mean. Let's see, yellow. This is the new yellow DX. Okay, and I'm gonna do the in golden yellow. Now, golden yellow comes in the custom multis. By the way, isn't this yellow 4-color barrel gorgeous in the new Uni-Style Fit series? I love it. Anyway, okay, sorry. The golden yellow comes in both the like individual pen form or in the custom multi form, which is really cool. It's very easy to see, just like the Sarasu clip yellow. I really like that. So yeah, I'm having a good time with these yellows. And why don't I do right next to them the yellow greens, since they came out with a new apple green, the DX apple green. We're almost done, we're almost done. This video was requested by a lot of people, so I wanted to make sure I, really spent a decent time on it. This is the lime green. Totally discontinued color. We do still have some in this slicky. They do they also make this, in the slicky multi and the I Plus multi series. So if you like that lime green, it's not like gone forever or anything. And this one is the apple green. Pilot Juice scented. Believe this is just like the yellow pineapple one, where you can get it in both that limited edition or the regular one. I do think we have some limited edition of this scent left. It is on sale. And it still smells delicious. It smells like green apple candy. Okay, so let me do another zoom. And let me do a flip through so that you can see the others zoomed in as well. I think that's very helpful for people. Pause it if you need longer to pick a shade. Tell me what you ended up picking. I want to know what you all like. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.